Hey everyone. Today we're going to talk about something really exciting, and that's Overbridge. I'm going to show you how you can get Overbridge set up. I'm going to be using Logic Pro X. That's the DAW that I use, but I imagine it's a pretty similar process, even if you're using Ableton or some other DAW. So it's really easy just to plug your Digitakt into an audio interface and record straight mix. But one of the things you can do with Overbridge is actually record every single track to a separate track in your DAW. That way, you can go in and make post processing edits or add in effects that you have in your DAW to specific tracks. So, it's a really handy way to give yourself that flexibility to do edits after the recording and have each track on a separate track in your DAW. And that also includes the inputs. So the Digitakt can actually function as an independent audio interface. If you have an external synth that's built into one of your projects, you can actually record it to your DAW through the Digitakt inputs. It functions just like an audio interface. I'll show you how to get things configured inside here and basically how to set it up in the DAW and what it can do. And in another video, I'm going to go through the whole software. It's one thing that I think really makes the Digitakt shine out as an awesome little box. So I want to spend some time on it. Before we get there, I just want to highlight that this video series was sponsored by Perfect Circuit. They're a great retailer, ship worldwide, have tons of selection. I've ordered a ton of my modular stuff from them, and I highly suggest checking them out. I put affiliate links in the descriptions of all my videos, so if you're thinking about buying some new gear, I'd appreciate it if you click through that link. You don't even have to buy the Digitakt, you could buy any gear, and I would still get a small tip. It's a great way to support my channel and support me without having any additional cost to you. All right, back to the Digitakt. So to get started, there's a couple of settings that you're going to want to adjust inside the settings menu. The first one is in your system settings. You're going to want to do USB configuration. Make sure that Overbridge is ticked. If you tick any of these other ones, it will untick Overbridge. So let's just go ahead and select that one. Then if we go back, we're going to go to audio routing. So here you'll notice that a bunch of lights light up green. The green ones are the ones that are being sent to the main outputs, and it says 10 of 10. I'm going to explain in more detail why we're going to change this, but what the goal is that we want all of our tracks to be recorded on separate tracks in your DAW. So we're going to go ahead and uncheck these. I am going to leave the delay and reverb going to the main output, and that output is going to be the one that captures our effects. So here, we don't want to route these to the main outputs because they're going to have their own individual tracks once we get everything set up. If we go down, we do want them all going to effects. This USB to main, I want to highlight that what that is audio going into the Digitakt and not coming out of it. So if you increase it here, it won't make your levels going into Logic or your DAW any higher. It won't have any effect at all. So this is how you want to set it up. And that's the last thing you need to do in the settings menu. All right, let's head over to Logic and I'll show you how to set it up from there. So when you first open up Logic, this is the screen that comes up. You're going to want to go over to Software Instrument, Digitakt. And if you go down to the bottom, you can actually select for mono stereo, 10 outputs mono, 10 outputs stereo. I'm going to click 10 outputs stereo. And the big reason I'm doing stereo is because a lot of these you have the ability to pan, and that would come out in the stereo track. So we're going to go ahead and click multi-output stereo. And I'm going to click create. And there's Overbridge. It's an amazing interface. We'll get more into this later and how to use it and how it connects to the Digitakt. But for right now, we don't need it because this is just setting up Logic to work with your Digitakt. So I'm going to close out of that. Now here, what we have is all of the outputs going into this one track. So I'm going to open up the mixer, and down here, you can actually bring up all of the individual tracks. They'll come up as aux tracks. And as you can see, we have 9 of them. The reason we have 9 is because we have the first 8 are the actual tracks, 1 through 8 on the Digitakt. The ninth one is going to be the inputs from the back. And then right now, our reverb and delay are going through the first one. So now that we've got all these open, we need to route them all to their own audio tracks. We're going to do that by sending them to a bus and then sending the bus destination to another audio track. So what you want to do is highlight them all. You could go in and do it manually by setting up this going to bus 1 and setting up this going to bus 2, etc. It's a little bit easier just to highlight them all, go down to bus, and before you click bus 1, hold down the option key, and it just creates all of those for you. And if I play on my Digitakt going through, you'll notice that each of these has its own, as I click through each of the tracks and triggers, it goes to each of its own tracks. Now, the first one is the effects. So that's why that one goes up every single time I play something, because they all have a little bit of reverb or delay going to them. Okay, so now that they're going to their own buses, we don't need these anymore. I'm going to go ahead and delete them just to kind of keep things clean. But now we need to go ahead and create audio tracks for each of these. So we're going to do audio, bus 1, 10 different tracks. And the reason we have 10, again, is you have the 8 tracks from the Digitakt. You have a 9th one that's coming from the back, the input for external synths or whatever. And then you also have an audio track for your effects. So we're going to do that. Make sure ascending is clicked, and we're going to create those. And now we have audio 1 through 10. And now if you highlight them all, you should be able to have them come through. So they're each on their own track. Let's go ahead and record something real quick. Pretty cool stuff. So now you have all of your tracks. All of your tracks from your project were just recorded individually on your DAW. That's how you set up recording multiple tracks from the Digitakt into your DAW. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Thanks so much, Perfect Circuit. We really appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, all that stuff. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.